What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. Today we're using a really cool team. This was built by JMOdri that made it all the way to #1 on the ladder. And so the reason I'm really excited to try out this team is because of the fact that it has Araquanid. Ever since I saw this video, or this team on Cybertron's channel, I knew it was something that I really wanted to try out before the end of the season. So the main idea is you do have Araquanid with the option of setting up Trick Room and then hitting really hard. You also do have an Assault Vest, very offensive Cele-Steeling. I feel like a lot of the Cele-Steelings I've been using are very defensive, so it's really cool to try out that offensive variant. This team also does have a very, very fast Amoonguss, with the idea that most people don't expect him in max speed, and you can use quick spores to pick up very quick sleeps that you would not normally get as a result of the speed tier. You also do have pretty standard Landorus with Lumberry and Sword Stance and Regieleki to round out the team. So we do have the code below, and yeah, with that, let's just kind of hop right into the first game. Alright, battle number 1, and it is a Whimsicott Torkoal Charizard with a Tyranitar, Serena, and Regidrago. So this is interesting and a little bit tricky. I think the part that makes this really scary is the fact that we don't have a fairy, so we don't have a way to really stop Regidrago. And the question though is also what is our, I mean, we do have Araquanid for Sun, but it's like how do we deal with both Sun and Sand? So I like Porygon. I think we need Cele-Steeling. Right? Porygon, I like Porygon Lando for the flexibility. I like Araquanid in the back, just with the idea that if we can set up Araquanid, it's in a very good position. Sorry, and the question though is how do we set it up, right? We could lead Charizard. I mean, not Charizard, Regieleki. Does Regieleki really do anything outside of lead? Yeah, so what we can do is we can kind of give ourselves a lot of flexibility where we can either push for Trick Room with Porygon, or we can set up an Electro Web with something like Regieleki for more speed control to let Landorus really come in and do some work. So let's kind of see what my opponent is bringing and figuring out kind of the best way to pivot. So we are going to see... We do see Whimsicott and Regidrago. So this is a little bit scary, just due to the fact that, like I said, we don't have a good answer to Regidrago. So I want to push for a Trick Room, as well as let's go for Thunderbolt. I think it's important to preserve Landorus. And so what I'm hoping is I'm hoping we can use the taunt on Whimsicott makes this really hard. So let's see. We do get actually a solid amount of chip despite being not very effective, as they are just going to go for a Dragon Pulse as opposed to a Dragon Energy onto Regieleki, which unfortunately is going to pick up the knockout. And so what I think from this point is we do have access to... Do we bring in Araquanid? Landorus has a lot of bulk, right? Landorus on this team has a decent amount of bulk. I'm going to bring out Lando. And so what I'm thinking is we can max Landorus, and they probably expect Porygon to switch out. And so I should have actually doubled into Regidrago with something like the Ice Beam, but what I'm thinking is now we can go for an Ice Beam onto Regidrago and then go for a max. I want to go for a Rockfall onto Whimsicott with the idea that, because what I'm thinking is, right, they're going to get a Tailwind regardless. And so I would rather have, one, the special defense boost from the Sand, and also the fact that if we bring Whimsicott down to Sash, we can pick up a knockout that way. So we did unfortunately lose Regieleki, and I think that the damage trade-off might have been worth it. It is, I think, very situational because of the fact that they can still go for really big Dragon Energy They are still at over half. They do have access to Draco Meteor. So we are going to see the Tailwind. I think that was very obvious. And most likely probably a Draco Meteor into... Okay, so they're still going for a Dragon Pulse, which suggests probably Scarf or Specs. I expect some kind of choice item, as we are going to be able to Rockfall into this Whimsicott, and wow, that did way less than I thought. I know that this Landorus doesn't have that much investment, but geez. We are going to, hopefully, we do at least pick up the knockout onto Regidrago. This is, I think, a little bit scary, right? Because now what can happen here is Charizard. They bring out Charizard, they max Charizard, and swap Whimsicott into Torkoal with the idea that you can change the weather. As we are going to see, we're going to see Serena, which is definitely not what I expected. I want to ice... Oh, Serena has Triple Axle. I expect a Hailstorm. I'm going to go for a... Do I Ice Beam? I'm going to Tri Attack just to get some damage, and I'm going to Max Guard. Because I expect Serena to max and go for a triple or a max Hailstorm into Landorus. And so what I might have to do is I might have to sacrifice the last turn of my max to swap out from Landorus into Araquanid to be able to cycle Intimidates and also reduce the amount of damage that I'm going to take from the Serena. So I'm guessing what? Helping Hand? It could be Helping Hand Max Hailstorm, as we are going to see just a Moonblast into Porygon, which makes sense, right? Just trying to get a little bit of chip damage. As we do, correctly see the Max Hailstorm into the Landorus. And so now we can Tri Attack, hopefully get a burn, which we are not going to get. And so I think we do swap out our Landorus, which is unfortunate. No, I can't afford. So I'm gonna hit into Serena, or I think giving up my max is hard, but like Landorus can't eat a Hailstorm in any way, shape, or form, and Araquanid hopefully can. It does have a lot of bulk. It has a ton of HP, as well as a good amount of defense. So we should be able to realistically live a Hailstorm. As we do see the taunt. And so my fear is like, what? I can't waste a turn going for a Trick Room. As we are going to see, the Hailstorm is going to come out into the Araquanid slot. And so what? We expect a max Overgrowth into... Because now the question, right, is what? Let's see. Okay, so first let's see what their fourth is, because that's going to really kind of determine how we play out the rest of this game. Because if it's Charizard, like we really need Landorus around to deal with a lot of threats, and I can't. It becomes like this question of what to cycle in. Serena does only have one turn left, which is really nice, as it is going to be Charizard. How much HP does Landorus have? Landorus has a good amount. So what I want to actually do is I want to... what do I want to do? I want to... I'm going to swap into... Nope. I'm going to swap into Landorus to get an Intimidate, and I'm going to try to Liquidation onto Charizard. Because my thought process with this is we get the attack drop onto Serena, which hopefully means that Araquanid can live a hit and then retaliate into Charizard, because I expect Charizard to want to hit into... what is it called? Hit into the Porygon slot. As we are going to see... Okay, we're going to see a Hurricane from Charizard, but luckily, given, I think, the fact that there is the weather. We don't have to worry about it too much. We do see a Max Knuckle come out into Serena, or not into Serena, into Landorus, which is really good to know that they have a fighting attack, as we are going to be able to get off a big liquidation into this Charizard, which will pick up the knockout. So we're in a really good position, right? Because now we have, what is it called? We have an Araquanid as well as a Landorus looking into the Serena. Serena's max is over, so there's nothing stopping me from cycling out and Intimidate. They also did just lose their Tailwind, which is huge. So they don't have, they have a what is it called? A Serena that can't really touch me, as we can swap from Landorus back into Porygon 2 and go for a Leech Life into Serena, just trying to recover some health and taking advantage of Stab. So I'm guessing, what, a triple Axle into the Landorus slot, because Landorus is going to be probably your base threat, as we are going to get a special attack boost. So that's really great for us as well. We do see, yep, a triple Axle do pretty much, it's doing decent damage into Porygon, to the fact where it probably could take another. But I think this Leech Life should be able to, yep, we are going to be able to pick up the knockout. So good first game. I think the positioning was really what benefited us, and I think the fact that they didn't bring Sun, or they didn't bring Torkoal or Tyranitar, which I thought was interesting, because I thought both of them had a really good matchup. I think sacrificing Regieleki wasn't necessarily the best call. I think, if anything, I should have maybe gone for an Electroweb, just to break a potential sash on Whimsicott and slow it down for future turns, and probably should have read harder into the chance of Taunt. And I probably should have doubled Regidrago turn 1. I think that would have put us in a really good spot overall, but yeah, happy with the first game, and let's keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. All right, battle number 2, and it is another interesting weather, right? We see Charizard, Indeedee, Landorus with Torkoal, a Hatterene, as well as Venusaur. So I like Lando a lot, right? I think Lando has a ton of flexibility. It has a Lumberry to help deal with something like a Venusaur. Maybe Speedy Amoonguss, right? Do I want to do Amoonguss? I like Amoonguss. I think it's a good option for something like a Hatterene. Probably Porygon, and I do like Araquanid. I think if Araquanid can get set up, it's in a really good spot. It does have to obviously worry about the Sun, but yeah, I think having an answer to Suncore is really nice. And if we see something like Hatterene and Indeedee, we can react in one way, because I think at that point we save the Araquanid max. Otherwise, we can kind of assume their focus is less on Trick Room, and we can kind of max Lando. So we're going to see Charizard Indeedee. This is tricky. Because what I don't want to max. I mean, what we do have safe. What is it called? We do have a safe Rock Slide, so we don't even need to max the Landorus. So I'm gonna actually go for a Rock Slide here, as well as a Rage Powder, just with the idea that we want to make sure we get this Rock Slide off. Charizard could go for a Heat Wave, but Landorus should be in a really good position. And then the tricky part about this is, because I mean, this kind of screws me, because you can just Indeedee. So what you should do is you should Expanding Force with Indeedee. Actually, no, because we're still fine, right? Because we will survive because of the Focus Sash, and then we can go for the same idea the next turn. So what we basically are trying to do is we're trying to guarantee we get the Rock Slide off, and I think, yeah, this puts us in the best position, because we will survive a Heat Wave. We are going to see a withdraw from Charizard into Torkoal, which is fine. We're still going to get a good amount of residual chip, and what we're seeing is my opponent is going for the Trick Room option. So probably just Indeedee straight Trick Room. No need to go for, what is it called? To go for the expanding force as... Oh, they do go for an expanding force anyway, which is actually really interesting to me. As Amoonguss is going to live, I kind of want to just Earthquake. I'm going to Earthquake and protect. I'm going to Earthquake Protect. My issue right now is, what is it called? Indeedee just puts on a lot of pressure, and I think I need to get good damage onto it. And what we know that they have Charizard in the back, which does have access to Airstream. So I'm putting myself in a really awkward position because like I can't really afford to lose Landorus. And so what I'm hoping is they go for a Follow Me. We're going to see no Follow Me, so I'm expecting probably an Eruption and an Expanding Force. As we are going to... no knockout on Torkoal, unfortunately. We are going to see the hit into the Amoonguss. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. That even though you target into Amoonguss... Yeah, and I need the miss onto Landorus. Okay, that's huge for us. Because now what we want to do is we want to actually swap out into Porygon 2, and I want to just Pollen Puff into Indeedee. I'm not worried about what is it called? I'm not worried about Torkoal that much, and I would much rather get rid of this Indeedee. We are going to be down one, but we know that they have Charizard, so we do have... Sad day. Sad day. Great read. I think it's fine. We can... They're so low. We have... So what? We have to Rock Slide with... No, we can Earthquake with Landorus. I don't actually care. What we can do is what? We can Rock Slide... Or not Rock Slide. We can go for a Trick Room and Earthquake because of the fact that we know that they have Charizard as one of their things in the back. So Araquanid should be able to beat that. And also the fact that Charizard is faster than Landorus. So they can't... they are going to make a smart call of swapping out into Venusaur. So this is great, right? Because we know that Venusaur is also going to be faster than us, as we are going to get an Earthquake off. Please knock out the Indeedee. Indeedee will go down. This is great, because now, what is it called? Torkoal's super low. So Torkoal can only go for something like, what is it called? A Heat Wave. So we have really good damage onto Venusaur. And honestly, no, I think it's too important to... This was actually hard, because Torkoal is going to move before Porygon. So I either can recover... What? I recover, or I put pressure... I'm going to go for this, and I'm going to go for a Rock Slide, because they are going for Heat Wave. They're going for Heat Wave with Torkoal, so there is the chance, once again, of it missing Landorus. But I think from here, we can bring out... It's just hard, right? Because Araquanid... Oh, we're going to see an Eruption. Oh, just, I guess, not even risk. Wow, that's really bad. We are going to be able to get the recover off, and that means we're going to get a hit with Landorus, as we are going to go for Rock Slide. So we do pick up the knockout onto the Torkoal. The Venusaur is going to hold on, but what we can do from this point is... We do see a Leaf Storm come out into the Porygon slot, right? Interesting choice. We do take it very well. They do get a special attack drop. Now so now what? Venusaur is now slower than... Venusaur is slower than Landorus, but Landorus is faster than Charizard, assuming they're max speed. So I don't want to actually blow it, and I'm going to go for a Tri-Attack onto Venusaur and a Rock Slide onto both of them. And what's nice is we do have Araquanid. Yeah, I was going to say, we do have Araquanid in the back, so we can easily go for a max from there because we can guarantee that. So it was definitely a lucky miss from the Heat Wave earlier. And then I think the decision to go for Eruption was kind of aware of what had happened earlier and saying, hey, I don't want to risk another miss because it was so crucial. And given how low Landorus was, I guess the expectation is, yeah, there's no reason I don't see why an Eruption wouldn't pick up the knockout. But this is a pretty bulky Landorus. It does have a lot of HP investment, and that really did pay off for us. So yeah, good second battle, and let's just keep rocking and rolling and play one more. All right, last battle, and it looks hard Trick Room, right? We're seeing a Mimikyu. So it's Mimikyu Snorlax with Glastrier, a Slowbro, Galarian Slowbro with Indeedee, and a Sylveon. So Cele-Steeling is big here. Cele-Steeling resists a lot of stuff and has good damage into stuff. So I want to do, what, Cele-Steeling Amoonguss? Right? We do have the option of going for Fast Spores, and my opponent doesn't really have a good way to stop that. So I do like Cele-Steeling. I do like Amoonguss. Is there an argument for Araquanid? The main argument for Araquanid is the fact that it just deals really well with nothing. I do want Porygon. I think Porygon is a good option. Landorus is tempting because of Glastrier and the ability to hit Intimidates. But also, like, Araquanid takes less damage from a lot of attacks, but it doesn't really do much into my opponent's team. This is hard. I'm going to go with Araquanid. It has damage into Sylveon, but so does Cele-Steeling. So yeah, I think this is a tricky one for sure, and it'll really kind of depend on where my opponent like leads, because that, I think the 4 that they bring is really hard because I don't have a good answer for Glastrier. Okay, so we do see Glastrier, which suggests to me that follow me max Glastrier. So what we can do is we do a Steel Spike, but we don't know the item on Glastrier. So what we would need to do is we go for a Steel Spike into Indeedee and what did we bring in the back? And switch into a no, let's go for Protect. And a Protect with Amoonguss. Because what I'm thinking, right, is if we can knock out the Indeedee with 2 Steel Spikes, we have a guaranteed avenue of hitting Spore into their Glastrier. And so basically what we have to do is they could Trick Room. They could actually Trick Room is just hard Trick Room. Expect like going for a read like Protect Glastrier and set up Trick Room, but that's also fine too because then we will have a defense boost. But seeing something like a Protect makes me more weary of something like an Assault Vest, and so we are gonna see a max coming out from this Glastrier, which suggests to me probably a Follow Me Hailstorm into Amoonguss. And so like I said, if we can get the 2-shot onto Amoonguss, onto Indeedee, we have a guaranteed Spore onto Glastrier the subsequent turn, and that'll be really, really huge, as we probably are going to see a Follow Me, right? They could Expanding Force. We are going to see the Follow Me, which is great. I'm hoping with almost max special attack and Dynamaxed, we do get the 2-hit KO, as we do see... Oh, because it's Psychic Seed. That's tricky. We do luckily get the defense boost onto Amoonguss, as, yep, there is going to be the Hailstorm onto the Amoonguss right there. Just does a little bit of chip, and so what I think we can do is we switch out into Glastrier from, I mean not Glastrier, into Araquanid just to try and soak up some hits, and we can kind of protect again, and really, we can make Cele-Steeling really bulky for the end game, and just not let Glastrier kind of set up. Yeah, let's go for a Steel Spike here and swap into Araquanid. Araquanid will get a defense boost and be able to take a Hailstorm, and then we can protect and go for another one, with just the idea that because now what we'll get Cele-Steeling to +1 special attack, and I want to create a situation where Glastrier cannot take advantage of a weakness policy if it gets procced, and so this switch is really kind of setting up for that. We are going to, see the continued follow me, and I think just getting the Steel Spike boost will be the most beneficial in the long term, because of the fact that we can really get a boost from them. Would have really loved a crit. A crit would have been great, because we at this point have wasted our entire max trying to deal with a DD, which is not fun, and they do make a good call of going for a max Quake into Araquanid, which not as good as I would have liked. Sorry. I definitely, because of a crit. Definitely an unfortunate crit there, but they are going to get a special defense boost, which is going to pay off, right? Because now at this point they are taking less damage, and this Indeedee is so close to feigning. So, I'm going to go for a Steel Spike onto Indeedee. And so now is the question of, this is a really difficult choice, right? Because I can switch back into Amoonguss, expecting them to go for another Quake, trying to get a special defense boost, or do they read that and go for a Hailstorm? I'm gonna, you know what? We're gonna go for it. It's last month of Series 9. I'm gonna predict that they're going to go for a Quake, and if they go for a Quake, we're in a really good position, because I think even if this is just how our okay, so they go for a Helping Hand, which is fine. We are going to Steel Spike. I'm guessing they're going to go for a Max Quake, which probably can pick up the KO. I don't know how this Amoonguss has very little defense as a result of the fact that you go for max speed, and I think that there are benefits to max speed, but it's just like, how much does it matter? As we so we see a Max Knuckle, which is great. It goes into Amoonguss and it does absolutely nothing. So we at this point have a pretty much we have a guaranteed Spore into their Glastrier, and their Glastrier has, in terms of boost, has +1 attack, +1 special defense, and that's it. Whereas we have +3 defense, +1 special attack. So we overall are in a really good spot, especially given the fact that we do have access to Pollen Puff from the Amoonguss. As we do see so we're going to see Sylveon come out. And so what I'm thinking now is, let's just try to get some Beast Boosts and let's put Glastrier to sleep, let it take a nap, and then let's try and get some more knockouts. So I want to go for a Flash Cannon onto Sylveon, and I'm going to go for a Spore onto Glastrier. I don't expect Sylveon to be able to pick up a knockout, and then what we can do is, after Glastrier is asleep, no protects. Interesting. So Sylveon takes almost a knockout, but what's great is, what is it called? Oh, we're faster than the Sylveon too. And what's nice is the Sylveon won't go down to Hail, so we will be able to get the Beast Boost. As we are going to see, Mystical Fire. So Mystical Fire is a little tricky, but Cele-Steeling takes it super well. We are going to be able to get our special attack back to normal as a result of, as a result of the Flash Cannon. And what we can do now is, Glastrier took its guaranteed turn of sleep. I want to do that, and I want to swap into Porygon 2. I'm going to Pollen Puff Glastrier. I just want to get a little bit of chip onto it, as we are going to see the Sylveon stay in, which is great for us. We do get a little bit of chip. I think I should have actually gone for the Pollen Puff onto Cele-Steeling, Because Cele-Steeling at this point really is my win condition, and we are risking Glastrier waking up, as it takes nothing. So I think that Glastrier is Assault Vest. Which, okay, so there's also no more hail. Sorry, there's no more hail, and I think, like I said, Glastrier is Assault Vest. Looking at the damage output, because it is. I mean, what it is +1. We have no special attack investment, so it's a little bit weird. Snorlax is going to come out here, so we can. Let's go for an Air Slash onto Glastrier and put Snorlax to sleep. Just trying to like control the amount of damage that's happening. We are going to hopefully get a good amount of chip. We do get a decent amount of chip, which is nice, and we do put this Snorlax to sleep, which is always really great. And so what I'm thinking now is we can... Okay, so Glastrier is still asleep, which is great. We can now put more pressure onto it and probably protect... I'm going to Air Slash onto Glastrier and... protect Amoonguss? Let's protect Amoonguss. I'm expecting Glastrier to wake up this turn and try and target into Amoonguss. So then we can put it to sleep the subsequent turn and just try and, I think, yeah, because this is now a risk because we critical hit the Glastrier. Okay, so we crit the Glastrier, and I think given that, we should be able to easily pick up the knockout onto Snorlax, right? They do get the one-turn wake. They do go for a Belly Drum, but... Oh, wait, let's see what berry they have. They are going to go under half. We are going to see the recovery berry. Okay, because now I can just put you to sleep and go for Flash Cannon onto you again. So we just go Flash Cannon here, and we go for a Spore onto Snorlax. We know that you don't have a Chesto Berry, and so yeah, I think this should wrap it up. Snorlax, yeah, will go down after one more turn of being attacked into. So really good job. I'm happy that this team managed to pull through. I played some test games earlier, and I kept getting screwed over by like really crucial critical hits. So I'm glad that we were able to have a pretty good video for that. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to get more Series 10 stuff. I'm just kind of slow with team building, and I played in Osiris's tournament this morning, and I came in 10th place overall, which was great because there was over 300 people, but it was the same Zacian team that I'd used before, and I feel like people want a variety of content, so I'm hoping to try and get some teams underway. I might try and use some showdown stuff just to mix it up and keep it interesting, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for some stuff in the future, and feel free to let me know in the comments of stuff you want to see. Like I said, there are a couple Pokemon that I really want to try out before the end of the season, and particularly I have a really silly Blacephalon team that I just need to make. So look out for that, look out for Series 10, but yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.